All right, what's going on, guys? I'm Tyler Santiago, and this is the Santiago Show, Santiago Sports episode number 4, and we have a special guest today. If you can't tell by his shirt, this is this is basically the founder, the owner of the Collx app, who is one of our main sponsors here. So, Ted, welcome to the show, and thanks for sponsoring the podcast. Thanks for making it today, and we're gonna talk a lot about the Collx app. So.
Thanks for having me on, Ted. Thanks for doing this. It's a super cool show. Love how it's coming together. Really cool to have you doing this. Bigger, grander production.
Yeah, it's a little better than what we used to do. And this is your first time at this shop, right?
Yeah. I haven't been up yet, but I've been to the one in Collingswood a bunch because it's right down the road from where we set up shop. We're based in Haddonfield, New Jersey.
Okay. Yeah, right by the other shop over there.
Yeah.
They're getting a facelift, and they'll have your software in there, right? Or working on it.
That's the hope. Yeah, they were one of the first people to find out about us. We got introduced to them from some mutual friends and went and showed them what we were working on. I think it was even before we launched the app. So they were like in the beta group, and and so they've been helping us get the word out and telling people about the Collx app since we launched in January.
Speaking of getting the word out, what exactly? Because I've told our viewers many times exactly what you guys do, but in your words, the owner, CEO, whatever you want to call yourself, tell us exactly what Collx is and what it does for people in the hobby.
Yeah, well, so I'll tell you sort of how it got started. Okay. So I have a 10-year-old boy who got really into cards over the last couple of years. Charlie got obsessed with initially Pokemon cards, and then he found all my sports cards and got kind of indoctrinated in the sports card world. And so what he did was he would go down to the basement and he'd dig up all my cards and he'd take my best cards and he'd take them into school and he would trade them away to his friends. And then he'd get a few bucks for $2 for the Ricky Henderson card. And I'd be like, Charlie, that card's worth a lot more than you just sold it for. What are you doing?
You sell your Henderson rookie or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
And so the kicker to this is I did the exact same thing when I was a kid. I did the same thing to my dad's cards, and I traded away one of my dad's Mickey Mantle cards for a Greg Jeffries rookie card.
Do you remember what year?
I don't think it was. I don't think it was. It was
like a 60s one, one of the 60s ones.
It was. All I know is a Mickey Mantle card. I don't even think my dad knows. But suffice it to say, when I came home and showed him proudly my Greg Jeffries rookie card and said, "I traded your card for this," he was not too happy. And then that was back when Greg Jeffries seemed like he might turn into a half decent player.
He was one of the next big things. And what is that? 89? He was a rookie. 89 or 90.
Yeah, for a minute, and then I think he got injured. But anyway, so I had the same problem as Charlie, where I basically I wanted to take that trade back, and I had to tell my son, I'm like, you can't do that. You just have to know what these things are worth before you start going and wheeling and dealing at school, and so he's like, okay, cool, show me how to do that, right, and show me how to figure out what these cards are worth. So I when I was growing up, I had the Tough Stuff magazine and the Beckett guide.
Yep, Beckett.
So I bought him a Beckett guide. And I don't know if you've seen it's like the freaking phone book.
Yep.
And he's going through trying to read the phone book, and he was none too happy and not too patient about it. And so he finally got tired. He's like, I'm not doing this. So I'm like, all right, well, I'll go on eBay. I know how you can go through eBay, look at the finished auctions, try to show them 130 point and all these other sites. And it's all the information's there. It's just a chore, right? It's a chore and a half. And Charlie's, 10-year-old kid with attention span of a gnat. Yeah. So he was, he wasn't into it. But he really, he still had this problem. And he's coming into my office every day saying, Dad, will you look up this card? Will you look up this card? And so finally I kind of got frustrated and I was like, there's got to be a way that we can help you do this a little better. And he's like, well, what about that visual search technology you're always talking about? So this is my 4th technology company. All of them have used computer vision to solve a problem or another. And I was like, yeah, we could probably try that. It might work on cards. It might make the process a little faster. So I built Charlie this little thing. It wasn't even I wasn't thinking about it as a business, just a little kind of hack together this little, basically a spreadsheet where you could take a picture and it would look up the card price.
Okay.
And I did initially for a set of Charlie's Pokemon cards. It worked great. Scanned all these cards and scanned 1,000 cards in a day. And then all his friends started like knocking down my door saying like, Mr. Mann, can I have that app that Charlie's using? He's got an unfair advantage. Can we get a hold of that? And so I cloned the Airtable for them. And one thing led to another. And eventually I realized like, holy shit, this is a problem that a lot of people, that was okay. I swear on your podcast.
Nah, you go for it. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it's like, this is a problem that everybody has.
Yeah.
And it's not just, it's not just kids. It's not just like grown men like me. It's like everybody in the hobby.
So with that being said, obviously those kids were having that problem. I personally still feel like newer people in the hobby and in the industry, I still get a lot of people coming in here like, how do I know what my cards are worth? How do I look it up? I'm just like, I've been telling them about your app, and I said eBay too, because eBay's the number one marketplace.
eBay's where we get all our pricing data right now anyway. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So
it's it takes a little time to kind of like get the hang of it, but I mean you're probably good at that. I mean every dealer and store I know is like pretty fast on eBay.
But the cool thing about your app is you scan the card. eBay, you can't really do that. You have to type it in, and people are like, what even is this? Like they have the name of the guy, but it's like,
but
what
you have
year
to know,
is this?
yeah, you have to know all the
all the attributes to a card.
I mean, if you're savvy about it, you're gonna put in like the the number and the year and the set, and like you'll get the right answer.
Exactly.
But even still, like the rarer cards, like we were just talking about, like autograph cards, it's hard sometimes even finding like data on some of these like more thinly traded cards, even on eBay. So anyway, so what the Collx app is, sorry for all the backstory, but basically,
You're good. People want to hear it.
Yeah, so basically it's an app where you can go into the camera and I don't know if I'll...
You show him right there.
Show it right here. So you just go into the camera and you can take a picture of any... I'm not going to be able to do this like... There's no way to do this like cleanly. Basically, take a picture of the card, take a picture of the front and the back, and it's gonna basically identify the card and tell you what it's worth, right? So it'll tell you, this Kobe Bryant card is currently trading at $63, and it'll give you all the pricing and all the comps for that card, so you can go in and you can view, and you can see it. I'll show you too. You can see, if you want to see what that card at a PSA 9 or a PSA 10, what it's worth there. Most of the people, honestly, on the app are just scanning raw cards.
So here's a question for you, because I feel like once I get into something, I want to conquer everything. I want to have everything. Any question that anyone could ever ask me, I want to have all the answers. I feel like there's so many cards out there. There's so many attributes to a card. There's so many grading companies now and all that. Like I just saw PSA, BGS, SGC. What if somebody wants to look up CSG9 2001 Topps Ichiro Suzuki rated rookie? Like it's
tough.
I feel like there's never going to be enough.
It's never going to be complete. Yeah. I mean, cards are, it's a little bit like boiling the ocean here. We've got, so I'll tell you where we're at now. So we have 20 million cards in our database.
Damn.
Baseball, basketball, football, hockey, soccer, and thanks to Dave, who's sitting off camera here, wrestling.
Let's go.
Dave was adamant we're gonna get wrestling in.
Are the AWA All-Stars in there from '83?
Yes.
Classic.
And we are gonna have Pokemon, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh! Pretty damn soon.
Nice.
My son, if nobody else is making sure that my son wakes me up every morning with that demand.
What is he into mostly? Pokemon, I know. But...
He loves Pokemon. He's really into all sports cards. I mean, he's we're in the Philadelphia area, so he loves all the Philly teams.
Phillies.
But he's like really psyched about the Sixers this year, and So going back to your question, so we have 20 million cards, but that's just one piece of the data.
Mm-hmm.
You also have the pricing.
Yeah.
So we've been scraping eBay and a bunch of other marketplaces. I shouldn't say just eBay, but basically all the publicly available marketplaces, auction sites. We've been scraping all the transaction data we can get and just putting that into our system.
So on top of eBay, what other sites are you looking through? ComC, some of the auction houses.
I mean, most of the ComC stuff comes through eBay
too.
Anyways. But yeah, like Golden Auctions and like some
like
of the
PWCC
and any ones where the data is publicly available, we're grabbing it. But I mean, the lion's share of the transaction volume is eBay.
Yeah.
Eventually we're going to have our own marketplace. Hopefully we have our own first party data, and hopefully we don't need eBay eventually. But for now, that's where we're getting the comps. And so we use that to calculate the average price for a card. But a lot of our cards don't have recent eBay transactions, right? If a card hasn't sold on eBay recently, what do? So we either take the last known sale for that card. So maybe if it's not a card that has sold in the last 6 months, we'll just take whatever the last known sale price is. And if we don't have that, then we go and calculate an estimated price. And that is still, I think, an area that I think we've made good strides there, but we need to do better. But basically, to calculate the estimated price, we use a low estimate for the set, and then we add in a bunch of multipliers. So if it's a rookie card, if it's an autograph card, if it's a relic or a numbered card, so we add those in to kind of back into like an estimated price for that.
So
card.
I know you mentioned like a lot of big things happening with it, and you're looking into a marketplace, getting some other TCG kind of stuff in there, Pokemon, Magic, all that. What's like the ultimate goal? Is it having the marketplace, or like what is the goal for Collx?
So the big thing about the marketplace that we're psyched about is, everybody's used to eBay, everybody's used to some of these other other sites where you can buy and sell, right? Like My Slabs or even like Whatnot and whatnot. The thing that I think is going to be interesting and unique about what we're doing is you can see what the buyer and the seller can see what each other have. And so as a result, you can create, I think, more interesting transactions that way. So if I know that you're like really into the Tigers and, or the Reds, like the game we're watching, like, because I can see that we have that shared affinity, we can surface those cards that you're going to be more interested in my collection. And so we can make those recommendations. So when you're doing these peer-to-peer transactions, hopefully you're not just buying this one card, but you're actually, we can show you these are like 20 other cards in my collection.
That'd be awesome. I like that.
And so we're building, we just spent a lot of time building what we call our deal room. And the deal room is basically a place where you can go and you can add not just one card from Tyler's collection, but I go add that, and then I find 20 other cards I want to add. Add those all in, and then I can, all right, now I've got 20 cards in here. I want a discount. I want like 5% off. I want 10% off. So I can say, those cards all total up to be $100, but would you take 90?
Okay.
And then you can go back and you can go, come back at me with a counter offer and, negotiate and then get to a deal. And so I think what's cool about that is those multi-card transactions, like, especially when you're talking about like really, really low value, raw cards.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes it's you can't really sell those on eBay.
Not worth it.
It's not worth it. The cost of the shipping is more than the cost of the card. So, but if you can go, gang together a bunch of them, get the players you really like, get the cards you really want, you can actually start to do some interesting deals, especially on like the lower end stuff.
So that's basically long-term kind of stuff. So when I say long-term and that's your goal.
Well, we're launching that stuff in the coming weeks. So we're gonna have the deal piece. We're gonna pilot that in a beta.
So you got the national
going into the
weeks.
national. Yeah, we'll have that launched live before the national. So hopefully people will start using that before the national, and then we're gonna start taking payment, doing the whole checkout flow, in the next month. So we'll be a bona fide marketplace at that point.
So speaking of the national, what are your plans there? You guys gonna be set up? You got any maybe events going on? Anything planned? Like what?
Yeah. So we got a booth in the breaking pavilion.
Okay. Nice.
So we'll be doing some breaks. Maybe more to come on that. So yeah, we're pretty psyched about that setup. The other big thing that we're talking about at the show is we just did an acquisition of a piece of software called Card Dealer Pro. So this is for Collx is really for like the typical collector or hobbyist.
Yeah.
You scan your cards and you build your collection, you track the value of your cards, and soon you buy and sell. But card stores and dealers have a lot of the same problems, right? Pricing cards, inventorying what you've got. I mean,
inventory for sure, yeah.
So much fucking stuff here.
Shout out to Bubba, by the way, who inventories everything at Santiago Sports too. Guy's an animal.
Yes.
Loves your app.
Yeah, and Bubba's like, he's come up with a great system, but like it's like you need a system. You need a system. And you need a way to make it a little faster. And if you're a store and you want to start selling not just in the store but also online, that's a whole other challenge. So the software that we bought, Card Dealer Pro, makes it really fast to scan your cards, right? Like I could scan a card here on the Collx app and it'll take me a couple seconds to scan it and get the price. But when you're scanning hundreds of thousands of cards, scanning them all with your phone isn't really so practical.
And then where does the scanner come into place that we have over here? What is?
You want me to take this out and show you?
Let's see it.
All right. So I'm gonna try and set this up here. You want me to put it over this way? All right. All right. So I'm just gonna open up my computer here and show you how this works. I'll do my best to demo it. So
I think I've seen Bubba either try to show me or tell me about it. So I'm excited to see this firsthand.
Sorry, so this is the Car Dealer Pro software. Can I show this to you too? So you're gonna be able to see this, right? So this is the software that we're showing you how this all works on. Basically, if I want to go and I want to scan a batch of cards, I'll go in here and I'll create a new batch. I'm just gonna give this like a gibberish name. And I can put in all the location data, like I can tell you where it's located in the store. I can even like watermark it in a specific way, but I'm just gonna show you scanning the cards. So hopefully this all works. Is this thing on? Yeah, I think I turned this off. Sorry about that. Give me 2 seconds. This is the problem with trying to do a...
Well, in the meantime, if you had to scan any card in the world, like one card that you wanted, and you wanted to know the price of, what card would that be?
One card that I'd like to know the price of. If I had like the magical perfect Collx app that could tell me what it's worth. Gosh, that's a
Childhood card, something you want, something you I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean I have
Craig Jeffries.
I have like, an autographed Ricky Henderson card, so I'd love to know what that's worth. We're still trying to figure out how to do the autograph on the card. I mean, I've obviously scanned Ricky Henderson card, but like to know how much the autograph impacts. That's the thing we're working on right now. So let me try and see if I can get this working again. All right, so now I think I got it working. And so I load up the scanner, and what it's going to do, I don't know if you can see this going through. So the cards just sort of like feed through here.
Okay.
And they just sort of like crank through.
So you can
actually put this on an even faster setting, and it's going to scan them all, and it's going to crop in a line.
Those cards are raw. They're not in holders or anything.
You can put them into sleeves, top loaders, and they'll go through the thing in the same way. And it's like being a little.
It's all right. We're on the. It's loading. It's working.
Yeah, I'll just go back here to show you what happens in the software. So basically, you scan the cards in. I actually scanned these cards in earlier, so I could just have them. So it's gonna basically give you all the details on each of the cards. It's just like on the Collx app.
It's pretty detailed too. I like that.
Yeah, and it's gonna give you the pricing, the high, the low values, all that jazz. And you can go into this list and you can look at it in a few different ways, right? So you can look at it in like a gallery view or in a spreadsheet view. It'll estimate the pricing for you, but you can also put your own pricing on there. And if you want to sell it on eBay, you can say, I want to mark this up X%.
Okay.
So maybe you want to take into account the 12.5% on eBay.
So for example, I know there's a couple apps out there where if people want to report, their own sales, own personal private sales, that they can add that to that database. Is there? Sure. Are you guys going to be able to?
Yeah, you can put in what you purchased it for or what you sold it for in here as well.
And then will that show up? So if I go to scan a card, and I'm about to buy it, will it have it marked as a private sale because?
That doesn't get fed back. So if you put in a price on a card, it's not going to necessarily record that into our transaction data.
Okay.
That would only happen if there was an actual recorded transaction, right? So if somebody actually purchased it. But if you, for your own, for just tracking your own collection, if you want to know what I bought it for and if I made money on it, that's a thing you can definitely do here. And you can from here, you can immediately export it to pull it into all these different systems, right? So Shopify, eBay, all the different places that you might want to, bring the cards over. And we have an integration with another software that allows you to basically cross-list the cards on multiple marketplaces.
Okay.
So if you want to sell your card, you can sell it on eBay, Amazon, Etsy. You put it on your own Shopify store. And then when it sells on one of those, this is the key thing. This is what I talked to the guys at Bubba about, is when it sells on eBay, it gets taken down off the others. right? So if you're at a show, right, and you sell one of the cards, you just scan it in with like the Shopify app, gets taken down off the inventory. It's no longer available on eBay.
Yeah, they were using that Shopify thing out there. I wish I could do that, but
It's well, and the challenging thing for anybody who's like trying to sell across different channels is, you know, keeping it all in sync, right? Making sure that you don't sell a card in one place and then it's no longer available, because, you know, if all of a sudden you sell that same card that you had at the show on eBay, that's a huge mess to unwind.
yeah, it's not pretty.
So,
Not at all.
you know, the good part is we make this a lot easier. So we've got over 125 pretty big stores using this now, including some big auction houses like Mile High Cards in Denver. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
Yeah.
And they do a huge volume. I mean, the typical dealer using the software has like 100,000 cards listed for sale online.
There's a lot of cards.
And you know, and for us, why it's really exciting is because they're higher value, right? Like, you have better cards than I do. So the average store and dealer has a average card is selling for about $75, right? And obviously there's ones that sell for a lot more, and there's ones that sell for less. But and this is raw and graded, and so yeah, so it's a pretty cool solution. And so we're going to be talking this up at the National too. We got
Awesome.
the founder of Card Dealer Pro is a guy named Fred Barnes. He's from Denver. Fred was a dealer for 20 years himself. He had a card store, so he kind of knows. I feel like he knows your world better than I ever will, because he's, you know, suffered all the slings and arrows of what it's like running a business like this.
So, if I have to ask you, where do you think Collx is going to be 5 years from now? The app, the marketplace, wherever. Where would you want it to be?
I mean, I hope that we have successfully peeled off a good chunk of the card business from eBay, and I think hopefully also expanded the market, right? Appealed to a whole bunch of people who, like, we have all these people on the Collx app that, you know, have never sold a card on eBay, have never bought a card on whatnot. They had a big collection as a kid, or maybe they're just getting back into it. And, you know, and this is kind of like how they're learning about the hobby. And so I think we can, you know, there's about 85 million Americans that own trading cards, but only about like 20% of those have ever, you know, sold a card at a card shop or sold it on eBay. So if we can sort of broaden the market a little bit, you know, bring some of those people back into the hobby, that'll be pretty cool.
And I like what you guys are doing too. You guys are going to shows and showing people the app, and, you know, setting up so people can get familiar with the brand. I feel like more than anything, the brand, you know, what the brand represents and what you guys do tells a lot about, you know, like the software and stuff. Like, you want to be out there, and I feel like the shows where you guys go to, people are finding out about you, and it's really cool because you guys have it set up to where people can come up and figure out what their cards are worth right away. So
yeah,
it's really cool to see it firsthand, and I'm glad we got to show the audience. My next question to you is, what else do you think you want to add to the app? I feel like right now, you can never really be satisfied, but as far as all the software and stuff you have, there might be something that's like unattainable out there, like something that you want the app to do or whatever. Is there anything out there that's like, if I could ever do this, I'd love to add it to the app? Like, I don't know. I don't know a lot about technology, so like.
There's a list a mile long, honestly, of like features that we'd like to get in the app. I mean, we get things every day from the users that I know we're going to do, right? Like, I know we're going to add in a capability for facilitating trades. I know we're going to add in the ability to export your collection. I know we're going to do, there's a whole bunch of stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if I was talking like really pie in the sky stuff, things that I would personally love, I love the ability to get my card graded, or at least to get a condition assessment.
That'd be
from a picture. It's a really hard problem to solve. I spent a lot of time looking at it. It's and there's really smart people that have worked on this problem. Like there's a guy who
I know what you're talking about. The guy that he has like a pre-grading like machine or something like that. I've seen something like that.
Well, there's you're talking about the AGS thing.
I think so.
Well, AGS is the ones that have the big gigantic machines. They'll probably be at the National, and they can actually just, you know, you put your card in and it can, like, you know, use computer vision to
How do you feel about like the computer vision?
I spent like the last 10 years of my life working in this field, so I know what's doable, right? Like, we had my previous company, we could identify any piece of clothing, we also did spare parts, so you could identify any part at Home Depot, and we could like get it down to like SKU level. So I know it's all doable. It just takes time, right? To do it accurately, to do it reliably.
I just always
tough.
felt like grading deserves to be done by the human eye. I mean, it is subjective, but what's to say the software also isn't subjective to a certain extent?
Yeah.
Now, like I said, I don't really know technology like that. You're the tech guy, so
it's a really hard problem. And I've talked to some of the smartest people working in this field. There was a company that got bought by PSA called Geniment that did computer vision based card grading, but they were super early. And what I think, what I learned from them and what I've talked to some other people about is like the challenge to do it well, to do it accurately, is you need examples of every card, every set. You need, because the design of every set is different, and the way that it's going to be graded is pretty bespoke. And so the amount of training data that you need to do that reliably is enormous. So punchline is, it's a really hard problem to solve. I probably am not going to be the guy to solve it, but I would love for somebody to figure out how to do that well.
That's all right. You can't solve every problem in the world.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys are doing a great job, and I really do appreciate you guys coming on. I got one last question for you though.
Yeah.
For the National, obviously you guys are setting up. You're gonna have a booth and all that stuff. What are you most excited for? This is the biggest event in sports cards.
I am 100% most excited to meet more shop owners and dealers.
Awesome.
For us, we definitely want to get the word out about the Collx app and get more people download. We have about 200,000 users on the app right now. And maybe by this time of the show we'll have 250. I don't know. So it's great. We have a ton of people on the app, and we can always use more, right? There'll probably be 100,000 people at the National. If we get all of them on the Collx app, that'd be cool. But honestly, I think the dealers and the stores that I've met, there's still such a big opportunity to introduce some technology into your world to help make, grow your business, make it better, make it a little more efficient. And so I'm looking to talk to as many of those guys as possible.
It's all about networking.
So I feel like it's going to be all the beginning and the end of the day when things are. That's where I'm probably going to have the best conversations. I'm looking to talk to a lot of folks like that.
Oh, that's awesome. We're going to wrap it up here. Ted, I really appreciate you coming on and telling us more about the Collx app. Like I said, you guys can check them out in the Breakers Pavilion at the National. We'll also be set up at booth 2212 across from Steel City Collectibles, and I'm looking forward to it. Our next episode is going to talk about basically just the National. We're going to do some do's and don'ts, some tips, tricks, all that. I've been to the last 5 Nationals, or 6 since, it was canceled the 1 year in AC 2 years ago. So the last 4 of the 5 years of the National. So I feel like I have some insights, and I've been to a lot of the bigger shows. So we will see. Like I said, again, Ted, the Collx app, appreciate you guys, our sponsors. We'll see you at the National, and maybe we'll work on something out there too.
Sounds good.
Yes,
Thanks
sir.
for having us on.
Yep. Have a good one, guys.